Hey guys, I thought in this video I would go over the basic idea of the blood flow through a kidney. And I'm going to try and do it in two different ways. Here I'm just going to do basically a circular um, kind of graph just showing how the blood flow is a circular process. It goes into a loop. So our starting point for this one will be at the top where blood has gone through the entire body. Every square inch, every single cell in the body, blood goes through and it permeates. It drops off nutrients, it drops off oxygen, and it picks up waste products and toxins. So the blood has now all these toxins. And so what the blood will do through the renal artery, it will get pumped to both kidneys, and at this point, the kidneys will then filter that blood. And remember that the blood, most of the blood is uh, mainly water with some proteins, red blood cells, obviously, that's what gives it the red color. And then also all those toxins and contaminants that I was mentioning before. So it goes to the kidneys, it gets filtered, and it drops off those contaminants and it concentrates them into urine, and then you urinate it out. You empty your bladder, you evacuate those toxins, you get rid of them, and then what's left is blood that has been filtered and cleaned. And that blood will then exit the kidney via the renal veins. And they will make their way back to the heart, and then they will get pumped through the entire body all over again, where the cycle gets essentially started all over again. So you have this endless loop that on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, your blood is constantly flowing to clean out toxins from the cells and drop them off at the kidneys, and to pick up oxygen at the lungs, nutrition at the digestive system, to pass it on to every single cell in the body. So let me go ahead and try this again. This time looking at the anatomy of the kidney. So again, through the renal vein, you have blood that will go through the branches. It splits off into the tinier branches, into the interlobular arteries, and into arterial arteries. And then at this point, on those arches of all of those medullas, you have the filtration process happening. And as I mentioned before, two things happen. One, the contaminants get collected and they get filtered into what's called the renal pelvis, that cavity that is basically open and it fills up with urine from every single one of these medullas. And again, as we get into more detail, you're going to find out that there's millions and millions of these processing centers in the kidney, and they all filter their urine into the renal pelvis, which then will, through peristalsis, push that urine into the ureter and into the bladder and then to be evacuated. So that's the story of the contaminants. What about the rest of the blood? So now that the blood has been filtered out, cleaned out, now it's going to leave the kidney through the renal vein up the inferior vena cava and back to the heart to get pushed through to all of the body once again. And then it basically just continues to loop and cycle day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute. Even when you're sleeping, your kidneys don't stop working.